hours to come away with a decisive victory. We had the lead for over 38 minutes, and so that's always a good thing. You're in the Atlantic 10 Conference, and so you're going to have games like this every single night. And the way we came out was outstanding, and the way we finished wasn't great, but it wasn't bad. I think we're top 20 in the country in defensive field goal percentage, and tonight we held St. Louis to 28% from the field. The downfall of that is that we gave up way too many offensive rebounds, giving up 25 offensive rebounds. Can't let that happen, and we did that tonight. We have to be more aggressive in our box outs and pursuing the ball. But again, we led for 38 minutes, and we came away with a win, and we're happy with that.
Well, you are looking glass half full. There obviously was some constructive to take from it, not the inability at times of finishing around the rim, the handing of the basketball on multiple occasions to the opposing team. Just how do you take those negatives, coach to those negatives, and find counters for Sunday?
They're a very different team than other teams that we've played in terms of their aggressiveness. 11 leaves her man and goes and looks for steals. They body you up on the catch, which technically is a foul. We didn't have a hand check call until late in the fourth quarter. We had a very veteran, very good referees crew tonight, and if it had been a closer game earlier, I probably would have really pushed for more hand checks. We talked about 42 Brooke Flowers for them being a kid that is a really good shot blocker. Before the game, I said she's either going to look like Wilt Chamberlain or Greg Kite. And, tonight she finished with 4 blocks and 13 points and 12 rebounds. But I think everything there was earned in a very hard way for her. You have to give the other team credit. They're really, really aggressive, so we're going to turn it over a little bit. And then inside, she's best shot blocker in the country, I believe. So they're going to get some blocks. The negatives for this game is the offensive rebounds. That's what it is. Other than that, I feel pretty good about it, and we'll move forward.
When you have as good of a start as you have, how much of that is maybe some frustration over what happened the previous game, and how much of that is maybe just practice, things clicking, just one shot turns into another?
To be honest with you, it took me a second to realize who we even played in the last game. When the last game ends, we kind of move forward after we do our post-game grading chart and we watch film. And so that was multiple days ago, and that really didn't have an impact on this game. What had an impact is that we practiced the worst that we have practiced the last 2 days prior. Today's Wednesday, so Monday and Tuesday, we practiced very poorly. Our kids have said that they're tired, their legs are dead. And so our shoot-around today, I cut practice early yesterday, and then our shoot-around today was 30 minutes, and it's typically an hour. And it was crisp, it was on point, it was very close to perfect execution, and that's all I really asked of them in this game tonight. And Precious Johnson's a great example of that. Precious finished with 4 blocks, 6 points, 8 rebounds on 3 of 6 shooting. But the amount of really good screens that she set was in double digits. In the Fordham game, she had 13 great screens. When we grade this out, I'm sure she'll be around that number again. Precious is playing outstanding. And, Amaya didn't quite have the second half that she had in the first 2 quarters, but, sharing the ball the way she did in the first half and scoring and rebounding it, they got a couple blocks on her there late, and we've got to do some things about how she finishes at the rim a little bit. But I'm still happy with our performance.
You mentioned the offensive rebounds, but on the defensive side of things, when you hold players like McMakin and Martinez to 7 of 33, and especially with Megan and Tess, how they kind of manned up against them, your thoughts about the effort for just those 2 players and their ability to play defense just against the ball?
Well, McMacken, or however you say her name, she's a terrific basketball player and has been throughout her whole career. She's almost a 2,000-point scorer in college. That says a whole lot about her ability to score. She earned all 14 of those points tonight. Meg McConnell did a great job defending her. And then our other kids played really good help defense also. You have to give St. Louis credit. They went to that dribble weave, and it allowed it to get lower and lower. And so their ability to throw it up against the rim and then chase it became an easier path. If we could have jumped or eliminated the dribble weave and kept them to long twos, it would have been a harder time for them to offensive rebound. But that's for game planning when we play them again.
Sticking with the team defensive side of it, you mentioned the screens that Precious set. St. Louis tried to do a lot with screen and roll, but your guards really did a good job of rolling off of them, avoiding those screens and kind of switching with them well. How much of that is them paying attention? How much of that is communication? How much of that is preparation?
We went under almost the entire game. There was only a few times when we went over the screen. So we went under, and St. Louis guards recognized that, and they're going to take that shot. And at one point they were 1 for 19. And so, it was very successful until the fourth quarter when they then went 5 for 8 and they closed the gap on it. They're a Division I basketball team. They get scholarships. They're going to make shots. They're going to make shots. And so, I'm not like I used to be a guy that would be a downer right now because we only won and it wasn't clean. Man, I'm happy we won. And I'm going to enjoy it to midnight. And I told the kids the exact same thing. They're tired mentally. This is not a situation where our kids don't care about school. Our kids care about school greatly, and their academics really matter. We've had one day off in 17 days, I believe, maybe two. And there's travel involved in that. And then there's the academic side of it. They need a break. So tomorrow, I can't wait for them to have a break. I can't wait for the coaches to have a break. And then we'll be refreshed and we come back Friday and hopefully we'll be able to play well on Sunday.
Last one for me before I give you a break. You mentioned coming back with cut hands, and Megan and Maya walked in here like checking her elbows and checking her hands and everything. St. Louis had active hands. There was, of course, the play that was called at half court on Maya where she got grabbed. But then there's one with Megan that wasn't called as she was driving. Just your thoughts on how that went down and some of the things that got missed.
Those things happened, and it was a well-officiated basketball game that was allowed to be very physical. When it's a well-officiated game and it's allowed to be that physical, it benefits St. Louis. And that's the way the game was officiated. Nothing we can do about it, except meet the basketball, be really strong with the basketball, and make our free throws. And we weren't perfect with it, but it was good to be pressed. It was good to find out where we have some weaknesses and where we have to have growth. And it was a good win. I'm happy with it.
Coach, you mentioned being satisfied with being 11-1 at home. You enjoy this one until midnight tonight. Once that clock turns to midnight, how do you shift the focus to Davidson and the preparation to try and get that 12th win here at home?
Well, tomorrow I'm going to be on Stan Savran at noon, and I'm going to do a diversity and inclusion walk here on campus at 10:45. And sometime tomorrow afternoon, I'll sit down and crack open the laptop and start watching Davidson. They return a lot of their players from last year, and Gail does a nice job down there, and we have a pretty good understanding of what they do. And we'll really start the game plan tomorrow, and the coaches will all be home. And that's, Zoom is great. Coaches will all get together and talk through Zoom, and then we have a couple apps, as you would call them, I guess, Just Play and some other things, Synergy, where we can share clips and what we think that the opponent's going to do. And then we'll watch us also tomorrow. But, with it being a day off, it's a day off. And, in a culture where coaches like to brag that they're in the office 18 hours a day, that's not realistic. Like, yeah, you came in, but then you spent an hour gossiping with your buddy about what coaching jobs are going to open, and then you worked out for 2 hours. And, so, we'd rather be much more efficient with our time. And so we're all going to enjoy a day off, and we're going to be really refreshed and ready to go on Friday. Thank you for supporting women's basketball. Come out and see the Duquesne Dukes.